Today we're going to be talking about the Aspire Atlantis. Now, I was skeptical at first about this tank because at the end of the day it's still a tank, but surprisingly this thing is fucking awesome. Hang on. Yeah, it clouds for fucking days. It's ridiculous. But I'm pretty sure it's only a 2 milliliter tank. It's not very big, which so far is the only gripe that I've had with it. Because you do find yourself going through that tank within an hour or two if you're chain vaping. But thus far, the flavor and the vapor and just everything is awesome on it. It's only at 30 watts right now, and it's, as you saw, it's fucking performing awesome. So, I'm going to take some Monster, and then have another couple vapes, and then we'll go up close. I don't know. We're going to try it anyway. Yeah. It's got 4 air hole settings, which I'll show up close. I'm not going to tear the whole thing apart, but I'll show you what comes in the box, and it's your standard thing. Pretty much the same as the Nautilus. But the beauty of this one is it also works on mechanical mods really fucking well. Yeah, because it's such a low ohm, you can still pump the same amount of volts through a mechanical mod. And so it's just awesome. I know you've got other videos out there with people doing on their Sigelis and all their big ass stupid mods. I don't have that, so we're stuck with 30 watts. I can't show you what it does at say 60 or 75. I saw one guy running it at 80, which is really pushing the limits. But yeah, this thing's fucking awesome. If you have the option to try one, I'd say try one first. I always recommend trying something before you actually buy it. But at the end of the day, it's like 40 bucks at most places. I got mine off kovalvapes.com, which I'll put in the description. They have awesome juices. But they had a deal. I don't know how long it's going to last, but it was 40 bucks and you get that and a free 30 ml bottle of juice. So I highly recommend getting one if you can. But we'll try some up close time. It's the first time I've done it, so just don't mind if it sucks. Alright, here is a close-up of the Aspire Atlantis. Just your basic tank. It says Aspire. I don't know if they make clones yet, but if they do, don't buy one. It's got 4 air hole settings. This is the smallest, which is a very tight draw. You can still do a lung hit with it, but it's definitely for more of a mouth to lunger. It's very tight. The second hole, just a little bit bigger. The third hole, which is the one I stick on, because it's got plenty of airflow. And then fully wide open. I know it's got a metal thing in the background, but that does not. It's a fully through airflow system. Yeah, far too much air unless you're running it at a very high watt. But it has that capability. The mouthpiece, the drip tip, whatever you want to fucking call it, is a very wide bore piece. Let's see if I can find. I'll do next to a 510 thread. It's quite a bit bigger than a 510 connection. The hole itself, not so much. It's about the same size, but it allows far more than enough airflow than you need, so yeah, tons of airflow on that. The coil on the inside drips right down in there. I'm not going to tear this apart because I don't feel like refilling yet, but I will show you the replacement when it comes in. Comes with a little box like an iPhone or any other tank setup. Your tank sits in here, all pretty and packaged. And then underneath here, it comes with replacement glass, which is a good addition because it's the first one I've seen that actually has that. And then the coil itself, which is a bottom vertical coil, very much like the Nautilus Mini. The flavor production is pretty similar. I haven't been able to crank it up to high watts yet, so I can't tell exactly. But that is a very large hole. It's about the same size as the drip tip itself. Yeah, not a whole lot to say about that. It never dry hits so far. I haven't been able to bump it up too high. But it's got 4 giant juice hole vents. Yeah, and then your massive airflow hole. Like, massive airflow. Pretty similar to the size of the 510. Like, fucking ridiculous. But that's really all there is to say about this tank, other than it's fucking awesome. We'll go back up after I pack this back up. And we'll vape on it some more, and I'll tell you my recommendation, really. Comes with this thing. It's authenticity, proof, all that shit, whatever. This was wrapped around the edges, but I tore it out because I didn't like it, so. Yeah, just pretty much outlines the product and tells you what comes with it. Not really a necessity. Alright. So that was the close-up, obviously, because it's about as close as I could get it. I have a front-facing camera on my phone right now, so I couldn't tip it over and still see what I was doing. That's why it was in front of my shirt, but I think it got the job done. Again, this is it. 30 watts on the Vapor Shark. And yeah, it definitely performs. When you consider the fact that you no longer have to rebuild and still get clouds, that's a tremendous feat. That's pretty much why I wanted to buy one of these. I love rebuilding, I do. I have tons of different tanks, tons of different RDAs, but convenience-wise, if you're just wanting to get in the car and just go and not have to fuck with anything in the morning, that's pretty fucking great. You'll still have to bring juice with you, obviously, because, like I said, you'll blow through it pretty fast. I refilled this probably 45 minutes ago. Like, it's not going to last you all day, but it will give you quality vape for a pretty good amount of time. But I'll go to the smallest airflow setting, let you guys see it. A little tighter than my preference. Reminds me of like a K-Fun, like the original K-Fun, not the new whatever fucking customizations they do for them. But it's very similar to that draw, where it's a little loose, but not really that loose. The next size up is closer to my favorite. I don't know many people that will use that setting. Not at this watt anyway. That one's kind of an awkward in between. And then the third airflow. Quite a bit. There's a big jump between that airflow, I don't know if you can see that little hole, and this one. Like that, there's quite a bit of difference between the two. If they would have gave a setting in between, I think I would have been more content with it. But as it stands, I stick with that one. Yeah, I'm like 4 or 5 feet away. And then we'll go to the widest air hole. Yeah, that one's definitely for higher watts. When you're only doing 30 watts, you lose a lot of the flavor and the warmth at that setting. But I'm glad that they have that option. It's the first tank I've seen that actually opens all the way up. Like that's about as airy as my plume veil is when it's fully wide open. Just ridiculous. We'll go back to the mechanical mod because I know some people don't want to bump up to the regulated game yet, but yeah. With the mechanical, it takes a little longer to warm up, but it still gets there. It'll do what you want. But yeah, I didn't get this to review. Nobody sent it to me as a gift like other people, so I'm going to give my honest opinion about every product that I do review because I personally pay for them. And if it pisses me off, I'm going to let you know that it pisses me off. But this tank, the only concern I have so far, I haven't had it leak. It's been dropped twice, not my fault. But it hasn't cracked yet. Nothing's bent on it from dropping. I haven't dry hit. I almost did on the first hit I took. I didn't give it long enough to prime. But the moment it was primed, it's been good. I've switched through 3 different flavors on it. And so far it gives them all a little bit of a sweeter taste. It's a lot very similar to the Nautilus Mini if you've had one of those. But the only concern I have is the tank size. I really hope they make a second version, probably like double the tank size. If they could just extend the glass to where the silver piece is out up here, like the top, and then have whatever's on the top, I think that'd be a lot better. I mean, it still does the job, and it would be obnoxious if it was that big, but I would prefer it that way. Yeah, that's good shit. That's good shit. Currently rocking a 70-30 blend in here. So it'll do higher juices. I haven't tried a 90-10 or a 100% VG. But thus far, it's keeping up. Again, no dry hits whatsoever. Every time has been a fully saturated vape. It's a very enjoyable vape. But I hope you guys liked the review. If you have any questions or concerns or need to know better places you can get it, hit me up in the comments. I will check them often. And yeah, I don't have a cool saying for the end of this, so vape on.